So I went to the mall with my daughter and we got bucket hats. Apparently that's kind of a new fashion trend. They were real big when I was a kid, like in the early 2000s. I remember my sister had a jean one. But we got these at Rue 21 and my daughter got a cow print. That's what she's really into right now. And my signature print has always been cheetah print. I have so many cheetah print clothes, accessories, purses, shoes, you name it. And I've always loved cheetah print. So I had to get this. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to another weekly Pick a Card reading. This week, we're going to take a peek into the year 2022. And last week's reading, we touched on the upcoming holiday season and what that was going to look like for you. And in a lot of the piles, Spirit was steering me to talk a little bit about early 2022, tying that into the holiday season. So I took that as a hint and thought, okay, maybe I need to go ahead and do a Pick a Card reading that is all about 2022, what this year is going to represent for you, what sort of things that Spirit can let you know about so you can help prepare for it, get motivated, feel encouraged. And so that should be a lot of fun. And I've got 6 piles today, which we haven't done in a while. It just depends on what reading topic I'm doing. I just ask Spirit to guide me to the amount of piles that we need to lay out. And Spirit said 6, let's do 6 piles. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you about the upcoming year. I do also have a list of some of the major astrology aspects going on for 2022. Specifically with the outer planets, the slower moving planets. And I noticed as I was researching this and writing down my notes that Jupiter and the North Node seem to be a big theme with 2022. They have a lot of activity going on, and Jupiter is going to be it's exalted right now in the sign of Pisces, which means it's very comfortable. It's at home. So a lot of action can take place when a planet is in a sign that it's comfortable with. But Jupiter and the North Node are both about getting outside of our comfort zone. Jupiter is very much about expansion, expanding your horizons, growing, taking on more. And the North Node is about going towards those things that we're unfamiliar with, kind of creating a balance in our life. But so both of them are about kind of going outside of ourselves. So I think that's going to be a huge theme for everyone this year, for the collective as a whole. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out with what's going on in the world. But today you're going to pick your pile. And we're going to talk about what that means specifically for you. Also, I was thinking as I was choosing my decks, I might do a 2022 love reading, like a forecast for your love life and your romantic life. Comment down below if that's something you would be interested in. And of course, it wouldn't just be for those of you who are single. It would be a reading that could even cover committed relationships, marriage. I know, I've been married coming on 10 years now, and a lot of times I do seek out love, relationship readings because marriages go through ups and downs, highs and lows. So I was thinking that would be a good topic to do for 2022. So anyways, let me know if that's something you would be interested in, and I'm going to get out of your way so you can focus on the piles. Timestamps will be down below. If you're strongly feeling called to or caught between more than one pile, listen to that, okay? And listen to both. Maybe there's a chunk in each one of those piles that is for you, all right? I love you guys, and I'll see you at your piles. All right, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You guys specifically felt very strong to me. Maybe it was the imagery on your card topper, this peacock. When I think of peacock, I think of confidence, wealth, abundance. The peacock is just has a very high self-worth. At least that's That's what I picture when I imagine the energy of the peacock. So I like this for you guys. So let's first take a look at what the back of your card topper says. Beautiful card, right? Okay, on the back it says growth. Feel open, willing, and proud of your desire to explore new opportunities for self-development. That feels very much in line with what I was talking about for this year with Jupiter in the North Node having a lot of activity going on. You guys are really going to be tapped into that energy. So you all could have a lot of planets in your natal chart, maybe Sun, Moon, and Rising in Pisces or Aries, because Jupiter will be going through those signs in 2022, or perhaps in Taurus or Gemini, because that's kind of where the North Node will be traveling in 2022. So comment below if that's the case for you. It doesn't have to be. Okay, I want to take a roll of the die and get more into this message. Oh, my die just rolled off the table. All right, I got it. See how far you guys are going to be going out of your comfort zone? You're going to be rolling off the table in 2022. All right, let's take a look at what the die has to say. Okay, we have Saturn in Pisces in the first house. First house is about ourself, our identity, even our appearance, okay? Saturn is about discipline, about structure. So I feel like for you guys, 2022 is going to be not about reinventing who you are, not with Saturn here. It's more about fully establishing your identity and who you are, like putting in the work. I get this feeling that you already know who you are. You already know what your best qualities are. You already know what it is you like and what you don't. But there's been this stagnation, or you've been kind of putting off the to-do list the things that you really want to do, whether that is, I really want to update my wardrobe because I've been leaning towards this style for years, or, I need to put more emphasis on this diet that I value and I've been following kind of on and off, like I'm ready to get strict about it. Or, you know what, I've been wanting to study X, Y, or Z for such a long time. I've been wanting to go into this field of work for such a long time. Maybe this year I really need to buckle down and, grind in on this and really build something for myself. So you're working on your identity. It feels like for 2022, it's going to become stronger, more emphasized, more solid, okay? Now we also have Pisces here in the die, and Pisces is about spirituality, unconditional love, psychic abilities. I think that a lot of you are going to be treading more into that realm of life, really connecting with yourself through spirituality, maybe even in the way that you dress, you present yourself. For some of you, a lot of who you are has been awake, but you're keeping it hidden. It's something that you do in your private. There's certain things you do in your private time. There's certain beliefs that you've had for maybe years now, certain opinions of yourself or of others, but it's like you've only been really expressing those in your own head or at home in your sacred space. I feel like this year you're really going to start pushing that part of you into other areas of your life, not feeling so fearful to express yourself out in the world, no longer feeling unsure of yourself or worried about how others are going to receive the authentic you. So I think that's fantastic for you guys. And with the growth card coming up, it's talking about feeling open, being proud of your desire to explore new opportunities for self-development. Then they go perfectly with the first house. So you are really going to be pouring into yourself. I feel like you guys have already done that for several years. Maybe it's even just been an inherent part of your personality. Maybe you guys are the type that from a young age were interested in self-help books and, motivational speakers and things like that. I feel like the difference is this year you're going to be voicing that more. You're going to be showing that side of yourself to others a little bit more. You're going to feel more proud to say, this is fully, entirely who I am. I'm no longer willing to hide parts of myself or my identity for your sake. And because of that sense of confidence you're going to have, this sort of ease with, oh, you know what? It's fine for people to not like it. It's fine for people, I can't be everyone's cup of tea. I've just got to be me. And you're going to have this relaxed sense of self. It's going to really empower you to put in the extra work that's needed to get yourself to where you want to go. Okay, so this coming year is going to be a lot about being disciplined, especially with your spiritual and artistic side and self. I see a lot of you really having a designated time in your day for prayer or meditation. Maybe going on a walk or working out is your form of meditation. It's your time to disconnect from the everyday reality. That's kind of what I consider spiritual practice. Anything that pulls you in to a different world, disconnects you from your everyday life, but allows you to connect with your higher self. So walking and working out can be that for some people. For others, it's actual prayer, actual meditation, going to a church or a synagogue or whatever it is you believe in. For other people, it's certain self-help books where they're connecting to themselves, or psychology, therapy. So, or doing an art piece, being artistic, painting, poetry. That's a spiritual act, in my opinion. So I see you guys really harnessing this in 2022. Okay, let's take a look at the tarot, and then we'll flip over the rest of the cards. Okay, we have 10 of Cups, one of my favorite cards in the tarot. We have 9 of Pentacles. We have the Emperor. This is Aries energy. And then we have the Moon. This is Pisces energy. Wow, that's so funny, because I talked about Jupiter being in Pisces and Aries this year, and perhaps you all have that in your chart, a lot of planets there, sun, moon, or rising, and right here we have those energies, Aries energy, Pisces energy. So I do feel that along with Saturn, Jupiter is going to be a big planet for you this upcoming year. I would encourage you to take a look at when those aspects and activity is going to be going on with Jupiter. I know that Jupiter is going to start out in Pisces, enter Aries, and then it's going to dip back into Pisces. And I'm hearing that I need to look at the dates on that for you, because I think that's going to be a major part of this year, the upcoming year, 2022. When you look back, you're going to remember something that happened or occurred during that time period. So let me look real quick. Okay, so Jupiter enters Aries on May 10th, all right? But then it dips back into Pisces on October 20th. And then it re-enters Aries December 20th. So I'm feeling that October 28th. So I'm feeling that from October 28th to December 20th, somewhere in between there's going to be a big shift in you. I'm feeling internally. It could be externally for some of you. I see you guys shifting from focusing on kind of the outside world and life. So maybe the first part of this year, there's a big focus on physical appearance, the appearance of my home, getting things cleaned and organized, getting my daily planner. I want to be more scheduled this year, whatever it is. There's going to be a shift between October and December towards more an internal cleansing. Okay, so for some of you, it's going to be a letter to someone, something you need to get off of your chest that you've been holding in for a long time. I'm just seeing some sort of release or forgiveness or a good crying session, maybe even in therapy, but it doesn't have to be. I feel like you're going to realize at that point of the year that you've been holding on to a grudge or a specific pain, a traumatic experience, anger towards something or towards someone. And you're going to recognize that, I think that me holding on to this has been holding me back. I think it's been weighing me down. I think it's caused me problems with being able to be as disciplined as I want to be. So you know what? Now's the time to get it out. Now's the time to write that handwritten letter, make that phone call. I've got to get some things off my chest. I've got to get closure so that I can fully move forward. And I do see that that's going to be a huge release for you in 2022. That's going to be a major part of not just 2022, but I'm seeing for the next decade. Whatever happens during that period of 2022 is going to be significant to you, for you. And what I'm also hearing from Spirit is they don't want you acting on that feeling with the idea or expectation that you are going to receive back what you're hoping for. For some of you, this is about some sort of broken relationship, whether it's an ex or something you need to tell mom or dad or someone who really hurt you, even a sibling. This feels close, okay? Spirit doesn't want you to have that initiate that conversation or get those things off your chest because you're hoping to hear back something from them. Like maybe if I tell dad how much this hurt me, I'm hoping to hear, oh my gosh, hon, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Please forgive me, right? That's the ideal of what we hope for. what I'm hearing from Spirit is don't have that expectation. Go in knowing that even if you hear nothing from that person, even if you hear something you don't want to hear from that person, keep it focused on what you're doing for yourself, which is getting those things off your chest, getting that weight off of your shoulders so that you can move forward. And I'm seeing that you will literally feel lighter when all of this happens. So again, some of you are going to have no clue what I'm talking about right now. I don't want you getting worried or paranoid about oh gosh, is something major going to come up that I'm going to have to deal with? No, this feels like it's an insight, a realization that you have towards the end of 2022 that's just like, you know what, I need to address this. I'm sick of ignoring that. Maybe it's not good that I acted like that was resolved when it wasn't. Maybe there's still some stuff here, okay? So you're gonna be the one in control of that situation. It's gonna be something you want to initiate because you're looking for some inner peace, all right? I do see with the first two cards here that home life and finances are gonna be a big focus for you in 2022. There is a chance that in 2022, some of you are going to step out of a career that has given you a lot of stability and abundance for the sake of relationships and home life. So some of you are going to shift jobs and career or get out of your job completely because you have been craving to have more time at home, have a less stressful work life so that you're more present at home. Okay, so that should be exciting, especially if that's something that's been on you guys' mind, for a while. I see that you guys' career looks great. If you want to stay there, you can totally do that. I see that it brings you abundance, independence, and all of that. But I'm just seeing there's going to be a shift in 2022 of moving away from valuing the material and the stability over valuing home life, emotional health, mental health, and relationships. So I'm seeing a really nice connected home space that feels very warm, very loving, very sort of Pisces and peaceful. At the same time, whatever shift this is that you make that pushes you out of your comfort zone in terms of career, it's really going to prompt you to like, okay, if I'm going to do this, like I've got to get things organized. I've got to figure things out. I've got to plan everything A to Z. And that's where I see this Emperor energy coming in that really, really helps you out. Some of you may decide to move to a job where there's a pay cut. Well, this Emperor energy within you is what's going to help you budget so that you're not feeling that cut as much. You've got this debt paid off. You've got your finances organized in such a way that it doesn't hurt so much as it would for people who just go into something without any planning. So I see a lot of good planning and organization, a lot of psychological healing this year as well. Like your home life, your state of happiness is really going to be a focus for you. And remembering how independent and how powerful and how in control you are of your own life. Some of you guys have forgotten that you are powerful. You are in control. You don't have to be the victim forever. You can pull yourself out of that situation. There are changes that you can make. You don't have to hand your power over to somebody else. And I know that message isn't going to apply for everyone, but I'm talking to those of you right now who that applies to you. You're in a toxic sort of situation and you've been there too long, just waiting for someone else to get you out, waiting for the other person to heal things or to make the move. 2022 is when you're going to wake up and realize, you know what, wait though, I don't need to wait for them to make a move. I can make a move. I don't have to be reliant on this person. I can be reliant for myself. I can be the one to pull away, to walk away. Okay, that's going to be a huge, like I'm already feeling the energy coming in. You guys feel great for 2022. You feel powerful. Okay, let's take a look at the other cards. Okay, let's look at this one. All right, we have simplicity. Now, when I used from this deck, I asked Spirit to pull a word that would summarize 2022 or be like the word that Spirit or the universe, your higher self, wants you to focus on as the inspiration for 2022. And we have simplicity. Time to clean things out, time to get things organized. When things are disorganized, when things are toxic, when things are unhealthy, it overcomplicates everything. Spirit showing me an image of a car that's like it's just rained outside, and so there's a lot of mud on the ground. So how sometimes when a car gets stuck in the mud, the wheels just spin and spin and spin, but the car doesn't move. That's what Spirit's showing me. And then they're showing me like someone getting a shovel and just clearing out some of that mud so that the car can move. Let's get this mud out of the way so that we can move forward. simplicity. We've got to simplify things. We've got to pull things out. We've got to get rid of things. And I also feel that simplicity summarizes your values for this year. You're really going to be making decisions from a place of, I want to feel at ease with my life. I want my life to feel peaceful, right? So keep that word in mind. Put it on, the background of your phone, or write it down on a piece of paper, hang it in your bedroom, somewhere where you can look at it all throughout 2022 and remind yourself what you're striving towards, okay? All right, let's look at the next card. We have 8th house, intimacy. Yep, that's those relationships. We have the numinous. This is mystery. And then this card represents the archetype that you are going to embody or be striving to learn from or embody in 2022. And we have the hedonist, which always gives me strong Taurus energy. 8th house, intimacy. 8th house is about the resources that we share with others, with those that we're closest to and love the most, like our investments, our inheritance. Some of you will be getting some sort of inheritance or some sort of payout in 2022. For those of you who are already going through divorce, I do see you coming out strong and on top at the end of that in terms of finances and division of the resources. So I just want to give you that encouragement there. Mystery, this is talking about doing something you've really, truly never done before. What I'm hearing from Spirit is that up until this point in your life, if you really take a moment and reflect, break down all of your previous jobs, all of your previous relationships, all of your previous friendships, how they began and how and why they ended. What I'm hearing from Spirit is there's been a consistent pattern that has just been repeating throughout those areas of your life. Okay, 2022 is the year when you are supposed to walk towards the mystery, the unknown, where you're supposed to do something different versus falling back on the patterns that are most familiar to you. And for a lot of you, it has to do with handing your power over to the other person, really allowing other people to be in control, waiting for them to take the lead versus you taking action, you making the decisions. For others of you, it could be something else. But for all of you, there's going to be a shift in the pattern here that 2022 is calling you to make, to approach things differently, to dare yourself to do things differently this time around, okay, with whatever it is you'll be dealing with. The hedonist card says, inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life and celebrates the beauty in yourself. Yes, your confidence with both of these cards is going to be skyrocketing this year. I just see you really feeling good about yourself, and I see you getting back to your values. Your values have shifted deeply from the time you were a child or even a young adult, late teens, early 20s, to where they are now. What happened is what Spirit's asking. What happened? What caused you to go so far away from all of those values? What caused you to allow somebody else or something else to dictate your values for you? So 2022, you're going to be getting back to those core values that you have. And they're simple things, like the good things in life. This woman, she's relaxing around beautiful plants. She's eating good natural food. Those are the good things in life, right? Or just even being able to have the time in your day to relax a little, knowing that everything that needs to be taken care of truly is. Now, if we've overloaded ourselves with responsibility, this moment's never going to happen. Or, you'll negate your responsibilities to have this moment, but is that truly a peaceful moment? No, because in the back of your head, you're feeling guilty. You're like, there's so many things I should be doing. So this 2022 simplicity, it's about really figuring out, okay, what do I need to be doing every single day? Do I have too much on my plate? How can I eliminate some things so that I have time in my life to do this with completely guilt-free and to get back to my values as a person, to valuing myself, loving myself, creating a life that's peaceful, that feels good. I'm tired of feeling icky or not happy or low energy, like I'm sick of all these things. I see you taking care of it. So, man, you're really going to bulldoze 2022. This group feels incredibly powerful, energetic, optimistic, confident, but realistic at the same time, and responsible, dutiful. Okay, so good for you guys. I'm super excited for you. 2022 is going to be a big turning point. And this moment here, this conversation, this, getting something off your chest, really going deep, to find where that pain point comes from, to figure out what exactly happened to you that held you back in this certain area or that certain area, and dealing with it, that takes courageousness, that takes bravery. I applaud you for that. You guys are getting out of your comfort zone this year, all right? Yes, I'm so excited for you. I will leave you guys here. Comment below if you want to give me any other details as to what's going on or how it resonated for you, what you are excited about. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button because that helps out the algorithm, gets this video out to more people. I want to give a shout out and a thank you to all of my channel members. I love you so, so much, and feel free to join if you haven't. Okay, I'll leave you guys here and see you in next week's Pick a Card reading. Love you. Hey group 2, welcome to your reading. Just going to start by saying Spirit has a lot to talk to you guys about. Not sure why. We'll see as we get into the reading. But extra cards came out for you guys in 3 of the 5 piles that I used. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Spirit has to say. But let's start with the card topper you all gravitated towards. It's got the beautiful little butterfly, which is often a representation of transformation, right? Death and transformation. Looks like a lovely little stream here. Let's see what the back of it says. It says pause. Accept that you must wait and prepare for developments to reach the next stage. Now, an extra card came out for you guys from this very same deck, and this has come out before, and other times I've used this deck in different readings. Looks like the Egyptian symbol here, and then these pillars on the side that match my hat. And the back of this one says insight. See beyond appearances, masks, cliches, and cultural stereotypes to gain insight. Both of these cards together are giving me the energy of the Hanged Man in the tarot. We'll see if that comes out for you guys or not. But the Hanged Man is about, he's a man who's got his hands tied, if you've ever heard that phrase, like I've got my hands tied, like there's nothing I can do right now. And he's hanging upside down. And instead of taking that moment to complain or struggle or fight against, try to break free, try to take action, he instead is like, you know what? This isn't a moment where I can take action. I've got my hands tied. So why don't I make the best of it and use this moment to pause, to pray, to connect with Spirit, to reflect, to maybe shift my perspective until the time is right for me to make a move. So I'm feeling that energy strongly for you all in 2022. This is going to be about a pause, a shift, like kind of gathering things together for that appropriate moment to become that butterfly. Before the butterfly is the butterfly, it's the little larva in the cocoon. And in that cocoon, the larva can't move. It can't do anything. And that's a moment to pause, to rest, to build up energy, to allow things to grow within, because it's preparing for that moment when it will ultimately break free and be the butterfly out in the world. Okay, so that feels like a big theme for you guys in 2022. So let's take a roll of the die and then we'll look at the tarot. All right, so we have the North Node in Sagittarius in the 8th house. Now, I did say at the beginning of my video, I did some astrological studying for 2022 to look at the major aspects and energy. The North Node was a big, big theme. The North Node is shifting from Gemini into Taurus in early 2022, and it has a lot of aspects with other planets going on, so it's a big theme. And the North Node is about getting out of our comfort zone, doing things that we haven't really done. Sagittarius is also about exploration, getting out of the comfort zone, gathering new knowledge. But Sagittarius is about knowledge that isn't easy to come by. Gemini is more about the knowledge of, grabbing your phone and kind of Googling something really quick and kind of having lots of little facts and interesting data, kind of knowing various different topics in a lighthearted sort of way. Sagittarius is about getting that, 100 chapter big book and reading it page to page until you have completed it and you've gathered all this knowledge on one particular area. That's why it represents bachelor's and master's degrees, higher education. And so that really feels right for the first 2 cards that came up, because when someone's going to college, they're not ready to, if you're wanting to become a doctor, for example, you can't just go out and be a doctor. It's not time to take action on that. First, you have to go to college and get the degree. And when you're getting that degree, it's a lot of quiet time, alone time. It's a lot of studying, a lot of writing, doing what you need to do to prepare yourself internally to eventually be able to go out in the world and be that amazing doctor. So I feel like that's a big theme for you guys, 2022. Some of you are going back to college. Some of you are finally going to graduate college by the end of 2022. For others of you, it may not be about college. It may be about something else, but 2022 is going to be a year of preparation for you. It's going to be about a lot of internal work. The 8th house is the house of intimacy and of shared resources, inheritance, shared income with a spouse or a partner, for example. So that could be a big highlight to this year as well. It's also a house of investigation and occult knowledge. It's a house that's hidden away. The sun can't really reach or shine on the 8th house in what it represents. It's about things that are hidden, that not everyone sees, that only you and those most personal and intimate to you experience and know. So I do think that in your personal life, the people closest to you are going to see and take notice of these changes and may have to adapt themselves to them. The outside world at large isn't going to have a clue of what's going on. And some of you guys 2022 is going to be a big investigative year for you, where you're going to decide to go hardcore into a particular subject or a religion or a belief or some sort of secret and fully investigate it. I see some of you building like ancestry trees, doing your DNA test through Ancestry. Some of you were adopted. You're going to be locating your biological parents. Some of you are going to be researching something maybe for work. Maybe you're a journalist or you want to expose something or crack the code on something. I just see a lot of research and studying going on and uncovering answers to some things that will ultimately shift your perspective, give you some sort of insight to something. All right, let's take a look at the tarot. We have the Knight of Cups. This is water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Three of Wands. The Ten of Wands, so fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And we have the Ace of Cups. Some of you are trying for a pregnancy in 2022, all right? Spirit does not want you to overwhelm yourself, or Spirit doesn't want you to get to a place where you feel defeated, all right? Some of you are having fertility issues or are ready for a child, but maybe you haven't found the right person, all right? What I'm hearing from Spirit is don't try to force anything. Don't try to force a certain path when it comes to your plans. And this will apply even for those of you who aren't trying for a pregnancy. But what I'm seeing in this card is, in your mind, there's like 3 different options you can take, and you're open to considering those 3 different options. But Spirit has a 4th option for you that you're not aware of right now. You're not able to see it right now. So just try and keep yourself open. Don't get tunnel vision on anything, all right? Because the theme of this year should be about pausing and gaining insight. And if we have tunnel vision, if we're too focused on any one certain outcome, it makes us closed-minded. And we're closed-minded, we're blinded to what's outside of us. We can't see the other opportunities when they're ready to come. So try not to overwhelm yourself in 2022 with specific plans that you have laid out. Try and be a little bit more open and free and flexible, because that's an important part of this upcoming year for you. That's where Jupiter and the North Node come in and affect you in 2022. It makes you a little bit more malleable, a little bit more flexible. You're going to learn in 2022 how to not force an outcome or control destiny so tightly, but instead to go within, to listen to destiny, to be available to the outcome, to focus on a shift in perspective when things don't go your way. Have the ability to, let me pause, let me reflect, let me figure out what my highest self was wanting me to gain through this particular outcome, through this situation. That's where you're really gaining mastery this year, is in your ability to do that, which I think is great. I do also see in 2022, there's going to be a big focus on emotional fulfillment. We have a lot of cup energy here. Big focus on emotional fulfillment to the extent that it may drain your energy a little bit. You may not feel as motivated to take on certain tasks or go after certain endeavors. Like for those of you who own businesses, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to feel motivated to work on that particular business. You're not going to be as goal oriented with it. I'm not saying that you're going to sabotage anything, nothing like that. It's just you're going to feel a little more strained by it, a little more like, oh, I wish I could just put all of my focus on this emotional area of my life and relationships, and then I didn't have to balance it out with this more fiery, energetic endeavor, entrepreneurial, creative aspect of my life. So whatever that is for you. For some of you, it could be schooling. It could be something you've been focused on creating or managing or doing. I just see you kind of feeling a little bit overwhelmed at times with trying to make that proper balance there. And then maybe being a little bit hard on yourself. Like other people balance this just fine. Why can't I? What I'm hearing from Spirit is don't be too hard on yourself. That's the main message Spirit wants you to learn. When you catch yourself in 2022 being too hard on yourself, take a pause. Remind yourself that that's not what this year is about. Okay? And same with the tunnel vision or being too focused on a certain outcome. Try and keep the mindset of a student, of looking at everything that happens to you as an opportunity to learn something versus fight against it or turn it or shift it. Have a mindset of I want to learn from this. What can I learn from this? And that's going to help you. Okay, let's look at your word for this year. Oh, wow, we have honesty. So when I pulled from this deck, I asked Spirit to give you a word that would summarize what you should be aiming for in 2022, a word that you could put as the background on your phone or write on a piece of paper and hang in your room or on your vision board, or when you're feeling overwhelmed, you can use this word as like a mantra of, look, this is really my focus for this year. And for you guys, we have honesty. I like that with the Sagittarius energy that came up on the die, because Sagittarius represents the truth. Sagittarius is bluntly honest. It's honest to a fault sometimes. You know, it can be very blunt and harsh with its honesty. So I like that for you guys, focusing on what's honest to you and being honest to yourself as well as to others, not complicating things by with passive aggressiveness or with hiding your authenticity, but really, really striving to, does this reflect honesty? Is what I'm saying right now honestly how I feel? Am I being honest to myself? Am I fully being honest about this situation? Okay, so using that word to help inspire and motivate you for this year. Let's look at the other oracle cards. We have the 5th house of children. Okay, comment below if you're one of those in this group that is trying for children this year, doing something important in regards to your kids. We have Virgo. This is the alchemist. Oh, no wonder you guys are hard on yourselves. And then we have the 1st house of self. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at this one. This is the archetype that you are learning from or embodying, trying to embody in 2022. We have the dilettante. Now this is strong like Taurus and Gemini energy to me. It says delights in the arts without having to be a professional and alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. That goes really well with the honesty card. I feel like a lot of you up until this point or this year have had a hard time really nailing down what you are truly, truly passionate about. A lot of you are really good with that Gemini energy of learning a little bit of this and learning a little bit of that and having fun here and fun there. But really becoming a master at something, some of you could be Gemini South nodes in your natal chart, I think has been an internal struggle for you, something that's brought you shame for some reason. A lot of you are like jacks of all trades and have all these different hobbies and you're like very multi-talented, but for some reason it's brought you a sense of shame of, yeah, I'm a little bit good at everything, but there's nothing that I am the best at, you know? So, and what I'm hearing from Spirit is you've got to stop being so hard on yourself. And they also want to remind you of how many people envy your ability to kind of pick up things here and there and go after all these little projects and really enjoy and immerse yourself in things. So that really, really needs to stop in 2022. The 1st house of self Fifth house of passion. This is not only about our kids, but it's about our creativity and our creations in general. We create life through our children, but the fifth house is also about our inner creativity, our passions, the things that bring us joy, the things that we make that do that are a reflection of our creativity. And the first house of self, this is about our identity, who we're presenting to the world. So I do feel like there is a creative passion, a passion project that will be underway in 2022. I see that here, and a sense of overwhelm with it at times. And at sometimes a disconnect between, okay, I know I'm passionate about this for sure, but sometimes it's hard for me to emotionally feel invested in it. And you kind of being like, what does this mean? Isn't, shouldn't those two things be blended? What I'm hearing from Spirit is no, actually not always. There's a lot of famous musicians and artists that don't wake up every day excited to go in and produce their music or write new songs. It does become a part of the agenda. And then there's other days where they feel so invested in it and so ready to go and fired up. So that's something else you're going to be learning and discovering in 2022, that really any job or any task, even if it's something I start out feeling really, really passionate for, it is going to feel like work sometimes, because that's just how life is. Sometimes my emotions aren't going to feel so in it. Sometimes I am going to have to force myself out of bed or to finish that particular deadline. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm in the wrong line of work, though. Not at all. That's just a part of life. So that's going to be a big revelation for you this year, and you're going to see that in multiple areas of your life. At times you question whether or not you're good at something based on your feelings about it. I didn't feel good. I felt in a bad mood, or I felt angry, or I felt insecure. So this must not be something I'm supposed to do, whether that be becoming a parent, opening that business, getting that degree. Gosh, we can pick a degree that we feel so passionate about, and then once the coursework starts and we realize how much discipline we have to have, there's lots of times we're not having any fun studying it or doing it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not the degree for us. So anyways, that's going to be a disconnect that you're going to finally figure out how to reconcile with in 2022. And Spirit's wanting you to be more gentle with yourself as well. So yes, become a master of something and be disciplined about that. Like, this is what I've committed to. I'm going to do it on the good days and on the bad. Absolutely. But when you find faults in yourself, give yourself a little bit more grace. And honesty can be a great way. This can be a great word to help you focus that, because it's not that we're supposed to pat ourselves on the back for doing something bad, right? That's not good for us. We won't learn how to be any better. But it's also not good to bully ourselves into submission, or to grossly exaggerate things in our head for the sake of, well, that's how I get motivated to be better. Focus on honesty, truly being honest. Okay, I didn't do the best on that. So, maybe next time I will wake up a little bit earlier, or, do this. Focus on really being honest about your flaws, your faults, your shortcomings, as well as the things that you are good at. Are there things you're good at that you don't pat yourself on the back for enough, that you don't give yourself enough credit for? This year is about being honest with yourself. And if we're honest with anyone, there's going to be things that we can criticize and improve, absolutely. But there's always going to be things that we can compliment, that we can commend someone for, that are admirable. And I don't feel like you do that enough for yourself. There's a lot of heavy criticism, a heavy inner critic that exaggerates your faults to a gross degree, doesn't even acknowledge the criticisms honestly. It's over exaggerated, and also isn't honest about what you're great at. Okay, so you're going to be managing that this year. So this year is really going to be a year of gathering knowledge. Okay, we have the insight, pause, honesty, the Sagittarius card. You're going to not necessarily be making any major moves, at least not from when you look back on 2022, a decade from now. This is going to be a year that you remember as, yeah, man, that year I gained a lot of insight. I learned a lot of things. I gathered a lot of knowledge. 2022 is the year that really prepped me for the big moves that I started making in 2023 or 2025. That was the catalyst there. That was my year of really gaining wisdom. That was the year where I was really that larva in the cocoon. And I needed that year in order to bloom in whatever year afterwards, you bloom and become that butterfly in, okay? So start thinking about what area of my life do I want to master? Is there a certain degree that I want to have? Or is it in parenthood or marriage? Or is it in, is there a specific hobby I really want to master? Is there something creative I want to master? There's something where you're really supposed to become a master, where you can actually guide others, where others are going to look up to you in that specific subject or field or area and come to you for help. That's what you're meant to gain in 2022 through all of your studying or whatever it is that you're passionate about learning. You're going to fully, truly master something. Okay, it's going to bring you a lot of confidence. You're going to be feeling good about yourself. So I'm going to leave you guys here. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I want to thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's reading. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below if there's anything extra you would like to share. And if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. It helps get this video out to other people. And I also want to give a shout out to my channel members. And if that's something that you would like to join, I highly encourage it. I appreciate all of those of you who do that. And okay, enough chit chat. I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you for coming. Love you, love you, love you. See you next week. Hey, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. Let's take a look at what 2022 is going to look like for you, and if there's anything Spirit wants you to know beforehand to help you prep for those upcoming moments in 2022. So let's start by taking a look at the card topper you all gravitated towards. This reminds me of the Lover's card in the tarot, or the Garden of Eden. We have this man and woman in perfect harmony and balance. They're literally balancing, but they're close, there's not distance. And they have all these strong, beautiful animals around them, the peacock, the butterfly. I think this is a dog here. And they look focused on something, and they're looking in the same direction. So there's a lot of unity here. For those of you not in a relationship, or in which this won't be a significant year for you relationship-wise, this could be about a balance of your own feminine and masculine energies, bringing those into harmony. But let's look at what the back of the card says. We have enchantment. We are enchanted when the muses sing the art spirit into us, and muses and art spirits are capitalized. Okay, so that's giving me some creative vibes, and that makes sense. When the divine masculine and divine feminine are in harmony, are in unity, and are experiencing true intimacy with one another, because what is the true embodiment of intimacy is in sexuality, right? When we unite with another human being. And when that merge happens between the masculine and the feminine energies, a human is created. Brand new life is created. It's like the most powerful creative energy that there is within us as humans. So for a lot of you, that's going to be a big theme for 2022. This balancing of the feminine and masculine in your life, whether it's internally or externally with another person, that will facilitate a magical sort of creation in your life. And maybe we'll see what that is as we get more into the tarot. I do want to roll the die before we reveal the tarot, so let's do that next. Yeah, okay, we have the 7th house that came up. Saturn in the 7th house and Sagittarius. The 7th house is about marriage. It's about business partnerships. It's about our one-on-one relationships. 7th house is about balance. It's opposite to the 1st house of self. So it represents that balancing act between ourselves and another. And it represents compromise and becoming united with something in a one-on-one sort of basis, okay? So this is going to be a big theme for you, whether it's healing your shadow self, which can be in the 7th house, separated from you. Some of you could be getting married this year, so that's exciting. Congratulations, or maybe engaged, okay? For others of you, it's going to be healing and balancing your divine masculine and feminine through your one-on-one relationships, really getting those stabilized, secure, creating a good foundation. And a foundation can't be created where there isn't balance. A foundation is about balance. It upholds everything on top of it. It has to be in balance. And Saturn here is all about discipline and building a structure that's going to last the test of time. Saturn is very traditional, very conservative. Saturn is not unbalanced in any way. Saturn's very grounded. Okay, so that's kind of, you're going to be putting a lot of work into that 7th house. So if I were you, I would encourage you to take a look at your natal chart. What sign is in your 7th house? What planets are there? What planets are going to be traveling through there in 2022 to help you prepare? Because that's where all of your focus is going to be, is on this idea of the 7th house, whether it's marriage, business partnerships, your one-on-one relationships in your life, that sort of thing. And Sagittarius came up, which Sagittarius represents kind of a mastery of knowledge in a particular area. And for you guys, it's going to be in this 7th house. Sagittarius also represents exploring new ideas and new ways of doing things, locating knowledge through exploration, through travel. Some of you could be learning about a different culture, a different language, or traveling to another place for the sake of or inspired by someone else in your life. You know, maybe it's a best friend and you want to get to know more about his or her culture, family of origin, and it inspires you to pick up a new language or a new skill. Or it could be through a partner, a romantic relationship, who knows? But it's going to really inspire you to master something, to gain new knowledge in something. Okay, let's take a look at the tarot. We have the Chariot. This is Cancer energy, the Cancer rising. Ooh, and then we have Queen of Cups, more water energy. So this is also Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. We have the Five of Pentacles. And we have the Justice card, Libra energy. Wow, interesting. Okay, so Justice card, Cancer energy, that does make me think of marriage, okay, for a lot of you. Fortifying your marriage, getting engaged. For some of you, this could actually be about a divorce. This is only if you're currently going through a divorce, okay? Getting that taken care of in the upcoming year. The Chariot's about forward movement and progress. It's about being able to reflect on the past, remind yourself of the wisdom that you've gained, the tools that you've gained through everything you've been through, positive and negative, and using that to heal and balance yourself fully. We have perfect balance here with the black and the white, so that you can move forward without looking back again. Like the past is done and dealt with. Now it's about forward progress. But a chariot or a car has to be in balance, has to have 4 wheels in order to move, right? So that's going to be a big theme for you this year, balancing out your masculine and feminine energies. The Justice card is also about balance. We have the scales in balance, and this is the judge, you know, who sits in a court of law and takes in the information and decides what's fair and makes decisions based on logic, you know, based on the head, not necessarily the heart, and what's fair. So a lot of you in 2022 are going to be in a balancing act with people in your lives. You're going to fully become aware of this sort of constant struggle of give and take and of compromise and, okay, but what's fair and what about revenge? What do I do with that? Am I doing too much in this area of my life? Is this person giving more than they're taking, or vice versa? So I see you really, coming into balance with yourself this year, especially with your relationships, with your family of origin, you know, with your parents, with your siblings, friendships as well. I also see that at some point this year, there's going to be a relationship that is highlighted for you. The strength of this relationship will be highlighted for you. Because there's going to be a point this year, looking at my astrological chart to see if I can give you guys some dates. Because this is Saturn energy. Okay, so Saturn is going to be squaring the North Node on April 11th of 2022. Let me see if there's any other Saturn energies going on. Yeah, that's the main one that I see. Okay, so around that time, April of 2022, there's going to be something that happens in your personal or professional life that somehow puts the spotlight on one particular person, where you're going to really see, wow, This is someone that I can truly rely on through thick and thin. This is someone that I can truly be intimate with. This is someone who's got my back. This is someone who doesn't love me or like me for superficial reasons, but loves me really truly for me, flaws and all, and for my good things and my bad things. This is someone that is loyal. Okay, so there's going to be one person in particular in your life that you're really going to feel like, wow, I've undervalued this person, or I've undervalued these characteristics. I've overlooked these things for a long time. But what happened here, wow, that really makes me realize how special this person is, this relationship is. Maybe it's going to be a friend or a family member that gives you a loan at a time in need, or, is the only one to have your back in an unfair disagreement with someone else, or, I don't know, maybe they're going to reveal something, say something, compliment you in ways that you haven't been complimented before. And you're going to be like, wow, I didn't realize you thought those things about me. Like, that's so sweet. Like, that's going to feel really good because with that particular person, whoever it is, heck, it could be a brand new relationship. You're going to real experience for the first time what it feels like to be truly in balance with another person, to know that things are fair, that you are each giving as much as you are taking, that both of you are really committed, and that you don't just like each other for superficial reasons. No, it goes deeper than that. Okay, so I see that really putting a smile on your face, really warming your heart, because when we have a lot of energy going on in the 7th house of our chart, it can make us hyper paranoid of enemies in our life. It can make us read into everyone's actions or words with this sort of ulterior motive, like, are they an enemy? Or did they say that to try and get at me? Like, you start to question, and it's because you're supposed to be learning, when there's 7th house energy going on in your life, how to weed through the superficial relationships, how to find the relationships that really are ones that should be committed to, how to keep things fair and in balance, how to set boundaries when needed. Okay, but it's not super pleasant, because it can make you read into things that maybe you shouldn't. You could view something as unfairly that maybe is quite fair. Okay, so be careful with that. I have Saturn in my 7th house, and when I went through my Saturn return, which was just a couple years ago, that was a huge thing for me to try and navigate and deal with. All these relationships in my life that I felt were really stable and really good, it's like I all of a sudden started questioning everyone and everything, and it wasn't fun. But at the same time, I came out of my Saturn return with the realization of which relationships really did mean the most to me, which people I really could trust, and which people I couldn't, and so therefore needed to handle that relationship differently going forward. I feel like that's what's going to be revealed to you. There are some updates and changes that need to be made in terms of your one-on-one relationships. And 2022 is going to be a year of figuring that out. But at the same time, you're going to get to merge and grow a deeper connection with those in your life that truly are there for the right reasons, that have your best interest at heart, that are truly a complement to you and your energy. And somehow it's going to inspire some creative energy. Some of you may get into some sort of band or start a band of your own, and you're creating music, as an example. Others of you are getting engaged, okay, getting married. Others of you are having or adopting children. Others of you are getting into some sort of creative art form, whether it's baking or what else? Or starting some sort of business, okay? Something you're going to feel very creatively inspired because of the fact that your energies are going to be more balanced in 2022. The relationships in your life are going to be more balanced in 2022. 7th house is also about our customers, our fans. So for those of you who do have a business or a YouTube channel, or you're creating some sort of product that needs to be sold, you're going to be good in intuitively knowing how to market that, where to push that forward. Like, I see you creating fans, being likable to others, being very hypersensitive and aware of fairness, of a good give and take, of knowing what people want from you, how to give that to your customers, to your clients. So that looks great as well, okay? Things are going to be coming back into order, getting back into balance for you in 2022. All right, let's look at the other cards. Okay, we have community. So this was the deck that I told Spirit I wanted to use so that they could choose a word to summarize 2022 for you, or like a word of inspiration, what you're aiming towards, a word that you can remind yourself of when things get tough. You know, you can say, okay, my word for 2022 is, in your case, it's community. So that needs to be my focus, community. What does community mean? You know, what's a positive community? Am I exemplifying a good community member through my actions? Do I need to weed out any relationships in my life that don't make me feel like I have a community? Maybe there's places in my life where I feel like a black sheep, where I feel unwanted, where I feel like things aren't fair. So for you, you're going to be finding this community that needs, you know, put this word as the background or screensaver for your phone, write it down on a piece of paper, hang it up in your bedroom on your vision board. This is your word for 2022, community, which is all about give and take. It's about loyalty, warmth, right? Friendship. When we think of community, you know, those are the types of words that come to mind. Sacrifice, volunteering. So you want your life to feel rooted in some sort of community, all right? And your relationships need to be at peace for that to happen. I mean, I guess you could be in a toxic community, but who wants that, right? But I feel like in 2022, you're getting connected to more people where, you know, you may have been isolated the past few years, not had as many friendship groups, as many friends, as many clients, as many, you know, people in your life. So you're going to be reaching out and creating more friends, okay? And I do see you especially having one relationship, at least in particular, that you really feel safe in and you really feel happy with. You know, it makes you feel good inside. All right, we have Uranus, revolution, and we have Capricorn, all right, the boss. And from the archetype deck, we have the Midas and Miser. So this archetype represents the archetype, the type of person you will be embodying in 2022 or aiming to embody. And the Midas, this is the business person. It says here, entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold and delight in sharing life's riches. So yeah, something with this enchantment, this creativity, even the Capricorn energy, the boss, is about kind of that energy of the CEO, you know, the builder, creating a legacy. So I see that's going to look really good for you in 2022. You're going to see progress there. You are going to establish a community for yourself. For some of you, it's about that online community. If you're selling your products online, you're going to have a lot of customers flocking to purchase from you. If you're putting yourself out on YouTube, for example, there's going to be, you're going to have a lot of subscribers. You're going to increase your subscriber count. So that's awesome. I love that. Now, Uranus did pop up here. I want to look at my astrology paperwork and see when it is that Uranus is going to be activated in 2022. Okay, so we have Jupiter sextiling Uranus on February 17th of 2022. Okay, so take note of that date, write it down somewhere so you can see kind of what happens on that day. And then Uranus will be conjunct the North Node in Taurus on July 31st. So those are going to be two big dates for you in 2022, February 17th and July 31st. I feel like in February, that's going to be where something gets expanded or the idea, some sort of great idea starts taking motion. And then by July, I feel like that's when you're really going to see the fruits of your labor or what it is that you've created and worked on. So yeah, this looks fantastic for you guys. All right. So just try and focus on this word of community. Okay. Sifting through your current relationships and business partnerships, bringing things back into balance, making sure things are fair, and then going after your business or entrepreneurial dreams, your creative dreams. Okay, this is going to be a great year for that energy. Uranus gives a lot of like sudden insight, sudden spark of inspiration. I feel like you'll be operating from that in 2022. Or maybe for a while you've got like writer's block, or you just feel like, I don't know what to do next, but Uranus is going to kind of zap you with the energy of, you know, the heavens, and you're gonna be like, oh, I've got this great idea. Let me pull out a napkin so I can write it down, or this is what I want to do. So it'll come in spurts. So act on it as soon as it happens, okay? But yeah, I see a lot of great insights and things coming for you in 2022, and I feel like money as well, okay? All right, I'm going to leave you guys here. I want to thank you so much for coming. I enjoyed giving this reading for you. I feel so privileged to be able to do that. So I just want you to know how much I really appreciate that you let me do this for you. I look forward to seeing you guys in next week's Pick a Card reading. Comment down below if there's a certain topic or idea you would like me to cover. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button before you leave, I would really, really appreciate it. It helps this video out so much. It helps get it pushed to other people. I love you guys. Okay, I'm going to leave you here. Bye. pile 4, welcome to your reading. I can already hear my voice is kind of going a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't bother you guys. We're on the 4th pile, so after like an hour or so of talking, I noticed that my throat gets dry and it's harder to speak, but we will power through this. I'm looking forward to seeing what 2020 holds in store for you. Let's start by looking at the card topper. Very interesting card. There's a cat here and a stream with lots of fish in it, which we know cats like to eat fish, right? And then we've got these 2 different people. I don't know if they're like in a heated debate, because one's got their arm up, and they're even represented as opposites through the imagery and the coloring on each of them. So it almost feels like opposing views, the cat versus the fish, this man versus that man, something like that. I'm almost getting like a stream of consciousness sort of thought, like tapping into philosophical ideas, things like that. But let's see what the back of the card says. All right, it says share. To help you make progress, it's a good idea to share what you have and what you care about. Interesting. So yeah, maybe these 2 guys are sharing ideas, swapping philosophies, opinions, okay? And it could be a heated debate, but maybe one in which they're kind of listening to each other to some extent. It's not all about being defensive and getting your point across and being heard, but about listening as well. So that idea of sharing of information and gathering information and using what you have to give back towards others, taking your skills and using them in a way that benefits other people. So that could be a big theme of 2022 for you guys, sharing. Let's see what the die has to say. All right. Ooh, nice. Okay, we have the sun in Leo in the 1st house. Now, Leo is ruled by the sun, so the sun feels very comfortable in that energy. That's its home, right? And Leo is about our confidence and our ego and our sense of pride. The sun and Leo are both about that. The sun is about self-expression, creativity, being able to boldly and with confidence say, this is me, and look at what I do, and this is who I am. And so I love that for you guys. And the 1st house is the house of self, of our personal identity, of how we present ourselves to the world. So I feel like in 2022, you're really going to be spotlighted for something. Some of you already do a lot of volunteering or giving back in some way. And in 2022, there's going to be some sort of story that's published or written about you, or maybe you make it on the local news for some of your efforts. Like I'm seeing some of you with a little microphone being interviewed about something. But even for those of you that's not the case, you're just going to be really shining. And you know what? Leo and the sun energy is also about generosity. Leo is the king, but it's the generous king, the king who feels so strong, so fulfilled, so abundant, so happy with life that he wants to extend that warmth to others, to the people beneath him. He wants to comfort and give back, okay? So yeah, that's kind of the energy I'm seeing for you guys. You're going to be feeling so abundant, so good about yourself and your life, and not struggling, that you're going to be like, I have so much extra. I think I want to give something. I think I want to donate here. I think I want to do this, okay? So that's going to be huge for you this year, but I see you feeling good about yourself, okay? Let's take a look at the tarot. All right, we have the 4 of Swords. Oh, we have the 2 of Cups. How lovely. Wow, more Leo energy. We have the Strength card, and this represents Leo energy in the tarot. Incredible. And then we have the Page of Cups. This is water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Okay, so I feel like a lot of you are in a romantic partnership or a marriage where there's a child involved, okay? So that could be a big theme for you in the upcoming year. Some of you are separated from your child's mother or father, so there's going to be this requirement of balance and generosity and give and take on both sides to manage that. All right, that's going to be very, very important. I see a lot of you managing children or your children in general. Maybe some of you are in social work or teachers, work with kids in some capacity. But if not, then it could be with your own kids or the children that mean a lot to you in your life. If you don't have kids, it could be nieces and nephews, younger cousins, younger brothers and sisters. I see there being a focus to help them heal, okay? Where you're going to feel strong enough to where you can can help the younger ones, the people below you in your life, heal in different ways. Kind of like in the airplanes when they're talking about, if the airplane crashes, or loses oxygen, oxygen masks are going to come down, and they always say, make sure you put your own mask on before you start helping others with theirs. You're going to be in a place in 2022 where your oxygen mask is on and it feels good, and so you now have the energy, the ability to go and start helping the people that you love, the younger siblings or the children in your life. So I see you doing a lot of that, like maybe helping a family member or a loved one organize their finances or buy a house, or the gifts that year for people's birthdays. You're going to be able to spend a little bit more, or you're just going to be more giving of your time, cooking meals for people or volunteering at certain organizations. But you're going to be really aware of other people's pain, other people's trauma, and really empathetic to that, and wanting to help them heal it. Some of you guys could be putting your kids in therapy, encouraging your loved ones to go to therapy. You guys maybe are becoming therapists and counselors for children, and that's why I'm seeing this imagery of the child and you reaching out to help. So that becomes, some of you guys could be thinking about fostering or adopting. That becomes a big theme for you. I also see with the Four of Swords card that, 2021 for you was a time of reflection and healing, where you were like, needed a timeout from the world, from everybody, because you were like, I've got to get myself together. I don't even have the capacity to be giving my time, my money, my energy to other people, because holy crap, like what's going on with me? Okay. So in 2021, I see that that's kind of what went on with you. You just locked yourself away. You didn't really want to connect with too many people or things because you were trying to get yourself right. Okay. Whereas in 2022, I see that the healing is done. You're healed. You're feeling confident. You're looking great. You're looking brilliant. You're shining. You're exuding warmth and beauty and strength. And so you're going to feel energized and ready to go out and start sharing yourself with others, like this card touched on, to share and give of your time, your energy, your resources, and you're going to be more present for the relationships in your life, because you're not going to have to spend as much time focusing on healing your issues, because I see that you dealt with them. So now you're going to really be able to look at your partner, your friend, that family member, that child, and really be focused and attentive to their needs, okay? Which feels great for you guys. And you're going to remind yourself of your strength in 2022. Because I feel like in 2021, and maybe even a couple years prior, you started viewing yourself as this weak, whiny sort of person. Like you felt really defeated. Like, wow, am I really this weak? Am I really this sensitive? I used to view myself as strong, but after these past few years, I don't think so. I seem incapable of so much. It was just that healing that needed to happen. And you've done that. So I see that in the upcoming year, you're going to get that strength back. I see that your temper, your mood, your emotions, it's all going to feel like you're able to keep it in check. You're not going to go down the rabbit hole, the depressive and anxious episodes. You're going to be able to keep that lion tamed. You're going to be proud of yourself for having that self-control when it comes to your responsibilities, your eating habits, your triggers. You're just going to have a good sense of self-control. And I just see you being very warm and loving with the people in your life, bringing smiles into the room, bringing laughter back into people's lives, comfort. And I feel like that's actually who you've always been and who you were up until last year or a couple years ago. There's been a few years that have really knocked you down, that have worn you out and have made you question your identity and who you are, okay? But I see that being healed and you getting back to your confident, expressive, fun, generous, loyal self, okay? That feels great. I'm excited for you guys. You guys need this, right? Comment below. Let me know, like, what have the struggles been the past few years? What did you experience in 2021? Because I want you to know that you put in the work, okay? You did what you needed to do. Like, I want to give you guys a hug and a pat on the back and say, congratulations. You did so awesome. And 2022 is going to reward you for that work, for pushing through, for focusing on yourself, for taking that pause, taking that time out to really heal and get strong again, because you're ready to go back out there. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other oracle cards. We have spontaneity. So this is the word that's supposed to be your mantra for the year of 2022, to be an inspiration. This is your word of the year. So, put this word on your phone background or someplace you're always going to see it, and remind yourself 2022 is the year of spontaneity. That's what I'm aiming towards, of being more available, right? When people call, when opportunities show up, when events are happening, being spontaneous. Yeah, it's not planned out. It's not in my daily planner that this is going to happen. But you know what? That looks fun. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and play that game. Let me go ahead and drive out to your house tonight since you invited me. Be spontaneous. That is the definition for 2022 for you. Being open and available for some spontaneity and some fun, okay? Wow, I want you guys' year. Hopefully this is my pile too, because this just seems so much fun, you guys. You guys feel great. All right, we have opposition, balance. We have Saturn, wisdom. And then from the archetype deck, we have the monk/nun. And this is the archetype that you guys are going to be aiming to embody, striving to embody or learn from, admire in 2022. And I love that it's the monk and the nun, because this is an archetype of a person who devotes their life in service of what God wants and in service to others. The monk and the nun don't live in wealth or in riches, right? Their wealth and their riches comes from within, and they do volunteer a lot of their time to different causes, to different people. That's kind of what their life is about. It's a life of sacrifice to others, okay? So that's what you're going to be embodying. It says here on the card, selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. You guys are really going to be tapped into your higher self in 2022. You're at a healthy enough place to where you can actually ask, okay, now that I'm good, now that I'm healthy, what's a part of my purpose? How can I build a legacy? How can I give back? How can I tap into my higher self? How can I bring love and warmth and joy into other people's lives? That's what I want to do. And you're just going to feel really inspired to do that. We have opposition here, which is about balance. It reminds me of this card here. So there's going to be a nice balance and harmony with the people in your life, specifically your partner, or if you have the parent of your child, if that's a situation for you, or with your own divine masculine and feminine energies. This is a card that represents healing between the male and the female, okay? So they're coming together with love. So they're opposites, right? We have the masculine and the feminine, but instead of being defensive, kind of like what I talked about here in the debate card, they're more focused on, well, how about a balance? How about we take a little bit of your ideas and a little bit of mine? I'll compromise a little here, you compromise a little there. I don't need to be so defensive because I'm being more open-minded, okay? So that's going to be really good for your relationships, because I see you just being less defensive in general, less in need of proving a particular point, and more seeking harmony in your relationships. You've figured out in 2022 how to be authentic, how to be self-expressive, but how to not be controlling, dominating, or defensive at the same time. How do I express what I feel and think while also maintaining harmony in my relationships? And you're also not as insecure as you used to be about your identity. You feel more solid in your identity. And because that's no longer an insecurity, you weren't triggered by opposing ideas and thoughts and opinions. Instead, you're more willing to listen, to be open, like, okay, I'll hear it out. Okay, so you just feel more gentle in 2022. With Saturn coming up, a lot of you who picked this pile maybe recently went through your Saturn return, and you're finally coming out of that dark period that the Saturn return phase can bring. It happens from the ages of 28 to 30, around there. You're in the thick of it at the age of 29 or so. But it can be heavy. There's a lot of learning that's done through our Saturn return period. Comment below if that's been your case. I feel like you're finally shaking that off. You've learned what you needed to learn from whatever you were learning through Saturn in your life. You've gained that wisdom, and now you're going to see the fruits of that labor in your life. You're going to be shining again, truly shining, generous, loving, loyal. You're going to be giving a lot of yourself to others, but it's only because you're finally in a place healthy enough to which you can do that. So if you've been holding on, like blaming yourself for the past couple years for, gosh, I'm so selfish, like I haven't given enough, I haven't done enough for other people. What I'm hearing from Spirit is you couldn't have, okay? You were really in a place where you needed to focus on just you, where you needed to be in silence, where you needed to have less on your plate. So don't hold that against yourself. You did exactly what you needed to do. And now in 2022, you're going to be so energized that you will be able to make up for lost time. Okay? You're going to be stronger. All right. So yeah, good luck to you guys. Congratulations as well. You deserve to feel good about yourself. 2022 is going to be your year. You're going to be spotlighted. People are going to be noticing you, and you're just going to be in a real healthy place mentally and emotionally. You're going to be feeling good about you, what you represent, who you are. Some of you could have a little bit of fame, maybe your 15 minutes of fame that you experience. So enjoy that. But okay, I'm going to leave you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. I will see you guys in next week's Pick a Card reading, I hope. And if you could please hit the thumbs up button before you leave, it would mean so much to me. It helps get the video out to more people. Okay, I'll leave you guys here. Love you guys. Bye. Hey Group 5, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what 2022 has in store for you, what messages Spirit has for you, what you can help prepare for, be inspired, motivated, and encouraged by for the upcoming year. I do want to start by taking a look at the card topper you all gravitated towards, which has this angel. Looks like she's in front of the full moon and this beautiful bird diving down below. Just a beautiful card. Okay, let's see what the back has to say. It says, secrets. Conceal plans and actions from those not ready to accept you as you are. All right, so it sounds like in 2022, you're going to be making a lot of moves behind the scenes to prep for or prepare for something that you're working on or wanting to do. So I see you being a little bit more guarded with your energy, with your thoughts. You're going to be learning how to set boundaries in 2022. You're going to be understanding the difference between straight up lying about something or exposing too much information versus just being a more private person, that the two things can coexist. I feel like you've been kind of known as an open book by people in your life up to this point. That won't apply to all of you. For some of you, this is kind of how you've always done your game planning, like very much in secret. But for a lot of you, you've been an open book, and for the sake of authenticity in your mind. Like, I just want what you see is what you get. I believe in being very open. That is what honesty is, okay? What you're going to be learning in 2022 is being a more private person doesn't make you dishonest. Not exposing as much also doesn't make you a liar. Now, if you are straight up lying, that's a different thing. If someone comes and asks you something and you answer it in a dishonest way, okay, that's lying, of course. But I feel like you almost have a hard time understanding the difference between a lie and simply omission. Not offering up information, not putting all of your thoughts and feelings and emotions and ideas just out there for people to judge or to respond to. So you're going to be a little bit more, guarded and protective of yourself in 2022. You're going to be more careful with who you share what with. At this point in your life, you know who the people around you are, you know their character, and it's important that we adjust ourselves accordingly to the people in our lives. We can't be the exact same person in every single setting. And I don't want this to get confused, okay? Because of course, you should always be yourself, right? But let's say, for example, there's a certain person I'm very close to, maybe a family member, but I've learned over time that she or he isn't very good at keeping secrets. Every time I tell them, like, please don't say anything, it's almost like they just have a really, really hard time keeping that information a secret for me. Now, does that mean that I need to cut them out of my life completely? No, I don't have to. If I enjoy them in other ways, all I have to do is adjust myself. When I have very private, personal information that I don't want to get spread around, I adjust myself, and I don't share those things with that person. Maybe there's another person in my life who I can trust with those deeper, darker secrets. and I know they're not going to say anything, okay? We're a different person at our jobs than we are at home, or at least we should be. At our job, we should be a professional, commanding authority, probably a little more discreet with our political or ideological beliefs, right? For the sake of harmony in the workplace. We dress differently. We may carry ourselves a little bit differently because that's who we need to be at work. And then at home, when there's no one around and it's just me by myself, well, I may be a little bit slobbish, I'm dressing comfy. I don't care if I've, washed my makeup off from last night. And maybe when I'm eating, I'm not eating, so gracefully. Does that mean that I'm not being authentic? No, of course not. It's just we adjust ourselves, or we're supposed to, depending on who we are dealing with and talking to. That protects us and it protects the relationship. So I feel like that's what you're going to be kind of mastering in 2022. How you can be an authentic person while still adjusting these little superficial things for the sake of the different relationships you have, the different arenas that you're in your day-to-day life, work and things like that. Some of you, I do feel, are going to either pursue a relationship in 2022 that you're going to keep hidden for a while until you know that this is it, this is who I want to be with, until you know it's something more serious. You're going to not call your friends and let them know I went on this amazing date, or maybe you're not going to tell mom and dad. Okay. So for some of you, it's going to be kind of secretive moves in your love life as well. Some of you may get engaged before you even tell your family or some of your friends that you've met someone. Okay, so things like that are going to be going on. What I like about 2022 for you is you're going to be more confident in yourself and what you're doing and the decisions that you're making. Because in the past, I feel like one of the reasons you've always been so just upfront and open, like blah, spilling all parts of yourself to people, is because you do value their feedback. You want their feedback. I feel like you think you need their feedback because you second guess yourself a lot, okay? So it's almost like you put yourself out there so that you can be criticized, so that you can hear another perspective, so that you can adjust your plans accordingly. Sometimes we do need to do that, It's good to be the type of person that knows maybe I don't always know what's best. I want this feedback from others. But whatever it is that you're going to be doing in 2022, you're at a place now in your life where you feel so confident in your ability to make the right decision that to you it just seems completely unnecessary to expose this or share this with anyone until things have been set in motion, until the appropriate time. Okay, so you're going to be much better about timing what you tell to people and when. Okay, you're going to be much better at planning these types of things out. You're going to be much more controlled with what you share, what you don't, and you're going to be, I feel like you're going to be a more likable person overall. Your relationships are going to be in a better place because you are truly adjusting yourself for the relationships. If there's that friend that always shares your secrets, and then that always inevitably causes drama and upset, then you're calling, why did you say that? I asked you not to share that. Maybe you don't talk to them for a couple weeks until you get an apology, right? That's exhausting. That's a lot of unnecessary drama. So there's things that you've been waiting for other people to change and adjust for you. In 2022, you're going to take it into your hands. With that particular friend, it's like, I don't have time for the drama. I'm tired of the drama. Why don't I adjust myself? How about from now on, that particular friend isn't going to have private, secretive information about me. That's their loss, I waited for them to adjust, but I can't trust them. And my time and my energy is too precious to keep giving them chances with my secrets. So I'll stay in their life. We'll be friends. I enjoy hanging out with them and going out with them, but lesson learned, I won't be sharing secrets with them. So because you'll be adjusting yourself in little ways like that, maybe there's a certain family member that doesn't agree with your religious beliefs. And it always seems to come up as a topic of conversation when you're around each other, whether that's you talking about, oh, I went to this particular church, I'm reading this particular book, knowing that they're not going to agree with it because they don't feel that way about this religion, or hell, it could even be politics, okay? Or maybe they're the ones always coming at you, like, you need to believe this, though. This is the right way, like starting that conversation. And for the sake of authenticity, you want to stand your ground and defend yourself. In 2022, it's going to be more like if they come at you with that, you're going to say, okay, all right. And then the conversation stops at that point. They already know how you feel. You know how they feel. It's just as authentic to either not respond and walk out of the room if you notice that conversation's coming up, because you know it's a point of discord, to simply have an excuse to leave or go into another room for a little bit so that they can get the hint, or just say, okay. That's also authentic. You weren't lying. You weren't being a different person by doing that. And then the relationship becomes more harmonious because neither of you were constantly getting into this debate sort of situation to convince the other. So that is what you're learning in 2022. You're going to feel more at peace, and your relationships are going to be much more harmonious, and you're going to be more confident in your decisions because you're going to be withholding a little bit more. Okay, so let's take a roll of the die, and then we'll look at the tarot and expand on the message. All right, we have the moon in Libra in the 9th house. Interesting that we brought up religion, because the 9th house kind of rules over that sector of our lives, our religious and our higher beliefs in general. The 9th house also is about higher education, master's and bachelor's degrees, and foreign travel, traveling to other countries, being exposed to different cultures and different languages. So those things could be a major theme for you in 2022. Now the moon here, this is about our emotions, our mother's influence over us, how our mother shaped us as a person, and therefore how we handle our emotions, our mental health, what that looks like for us. Now Libra rules over kind of one-on-one relationships and marriage, which is kind of what we touched on at the beginning with your card topper. So the moon, wherever it is in our chart, it kind of shows where we're mentally and emotionally invested. So for you, I feel like it is going to be in your one-on-one relationships, in your marriage, if you are married or are going to become married, as well as in your higher beliefs on life. Some of you will be getting certified in something, getting a course in something, graduating or enrolling in college. Some of you will be learning a new language, maybe for the sake of a relationship. Some of you will be doing some I think for all of you, traveling at some point in 2022 will be, I think I can safely say that will be the case for all of you. All of you are going to take some sort of fun trip that's a little bit farther than maybe you've normally gone. You're going to go maybe to a country you've never been, or it could just be an area in your own country that you're in currently that you've never been to, but like a big trip or vacation, something like that, I think will be on the list for you guys. But your heart is really going to be thinking about your personal relationships, and how do I compromise in my relationships without compromising my sense of self? What does that mean, and what does that look like? That's going to be heavy on your heart in 2022, okay? But you're going to be keeping a lot of this in. This won't be a thought process that you're sharing with others. It's going to be an internal thought process, and you're going to be testing out different things. Maybe I'll try today and not talk about politics, for example, or maybe I'll handle it this way next time, or maybe I'm just not going to share my secrets with them anymore, for example. You won't be calling that friend and say, hey, by the way, just so you know, because you've broken my trust so many times, I'm never sharing a secret with you. You won't be doing that. You won't be getting confrontational about it. It'll be something internal that you decide. So I like that for you. It feels very mature, okay? And maybe as we get into the tarot, I'll get more info on this 9th house that's coming up, because I am curious about that. So let's take a look at that. All right, we have the Lovers. This is Gemini energy. Wow, and the Devil. This is always extremely powerful when I see these two next to each other, because these are both images of the exact same couple. At this point, they're in a really great, loving place, and at this point, it's become toxic. So let's see what the other two cards have to say. We have Ace of Swords, that's air energy, and Four of Wands. All right, yeah, I definitely see here you will be cutting some things out of your life. There are a lot of things in your life that at one point felt healthy, felt good for you. You were okay with these things. This is what you thought you wanted or you needed. Maybe you even admired these certain things. I don't think it even just comes down to relationships. Now, for some of you, I'm going to be very honest. For some of you, this secret planning that came up in the topper has to do with you planning an exit out of a marriage. You actually going behind the scenes, doing some things to plan for a divorce or an escape, a sort of escape plan. And maybe that's why 9th house is coming up. Maybe you're getting a degree. You want to get yourself set up career-wise before you take that leap of faith. But for all of you, there are certain habits, like certain addictions that you are done dealing with, whether that be an addiction to food, an addiction to porn, an addiction to nicotine, to weed, to drinking, to the internet, whatever it is. Addiction comes in so many different forms. It may not even be an addiction for you guys. It could just be bad habits that you've noticed are bringing about toxicity in your life. So you're ready to let go of these things, to cut them out. The bad habit could even be like what I was bringing up in the beginning, a habit of overexposing yourself, sharing a little bit too much information, and noticing that there's a link between doing that and drama, toxic drama. Whereas if you could have rewound time and just not shared that certain thing, not exposed that, withheld it, been a more private person, there would have been harmony, peace. So you're noticing these habits and you're cutting things out of your life in 2022 because you want this. This card represents a foundation, a new stability. Okay, a lot of times it can represent a moving into a new home. So that could be the case for some of you. It can also represent big family reunions. Maybe you're going to reunite with some family members that live overseas or in another state. Maybe there's going to be some sort of family reunion or celebration. But this represents harmony, happiness, stability, peace, balance, right? In this card, there's not balance. This is toxic. So you're finding your way back to balance in 2022, which I love. I love that for you. And it all has to do with this mental. The moon coming up here tells me it's really more of a mental mindset, a change in mindset, a change in perspective, a healing of certain emotions, noticing subconscious patterns. It's a more internal change that somehow brings about this stability in your outside world. Okay, so cutting out these habits, getting rid of these habits in 2022, while maintaining your authenticity and your integrity as a person. So I think that's great for you guys. All right, let's look at some of the other oracle cards. So this card is supposed to be a word that should be your mantra for the year of 2022. 2022 is supposed to be the year of, look at that, risk for you guys. This should be a word that inspires you and empowers you throughout the year. Risking things needs to be your priority, taking a risk. When we're taking a risk, it means we're doing things in a way that they've never been done before, in a way that we're not masters of, so we can't determine the outcome. It's a risk. We could win big or we could lose. Who knows? But Spirit's wanting you to take that risk in 2022. Don't repeat things in the same way. Don't stay stuck in the same negative cycles. Take a risk. Cut some things out. Forge a new path. Put this word like on your screensaver for your phone, hang it up in your bedroom or on your vision board. If you are not taking risks in 2022, then you are negating your spiritual path. Spirit wants 2022 to be a year that you can look back on and say, wow, I took so many risks. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone so much, having no idea, no guarantee that it would pay off. But I did it. I took that risk. For some of you, it has to do with these relationships or bad habits that you're just comfortable, you're used to on some level. You know what the outcome will be in them. So that's what brings you that sense of comfort, this sort of false stability that, well, but this is so tried and true. Like, I know how this is and I've been handling it. It's not ideal, but I've been doing okay. No, Spirit's like, it's time for you to take a risk and see what else is out there, to see if something else could be better for you. Just take the risk. You can always go back to your bad habits, go back to the things that bring drama and toxicity in your life whenever you want to. Like if you decide today I'm going to take a risk and not share as much, I'm going to withhold information, you can always go back to overexposing yourself again. Why not do a little science experiment this coming year, which is what I feel like 2022 will be for you. You're going to try out some things, take some risks, and with the understanding that if I don't like it, if I don't feel like it served me better doing things this new way, I can always go back. No biggie, right? Okay, so take some risks in 2022. Okay, we have the asteroid Chiron, which says healing. Conjunction, which says empowerment. And let's see what archetype you will be embodying or learning from in 2022. Oh, wow, we have the athletes. This says dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. I love that. The athlete is always pushing themselves to do more, to be more, right? Some of you may, some of these bad habits in your life do affect your physical health as well. So I feel like you're really going to be focused on taking care of that in 2022. But the athlete in general is about the athlete doesn't want to be comfortable. If the athlete feels comfortable and at ease, if the athlete's not sore after a workout, not breaking a sweat during what they're doing, they are disappointed. They're like, okay, this isn't going to work. I need to be, in pain at the end of my workout. I need to be exhausted. I need to be passing my expectations each time. And that's the sort of mindset you're going to have in 2022. Like, I'm tired of being comfy. I'm tired of being used to everything around me. I'm tired of having nothing new to strive for, to go for. I'm tired of, everything seems so stale. And I'm tired of that. So that's going to be your mindset in 2022. Now, Chiron, this is an asteroid about healing. It's an area of our chart where we are deeply wounded. And if we take the higher spiritual path, we will heal that wound and then be a leader and example to others in our life that say, well, look, she or he had that same wound as me, and they healed it. And look how wise they became and how empowered they became. So there's something in 2022 that Spirit's saying, you need to heal. It could be something internal. It could be something external. It could be something that happened years ago that hasn't been dealt with. But Spirit's like, look at your natal chart and see where Chiron is in your natal chart, because that'll give you an idea of where this wounding is in your life. This is where you're supposed to be a healer to others, but you can only heal others when you've worked on healing yourself first. So you have been bypassing this opportunity to be a master, an empowered leader, and a healer for other people in your life. I feel like what I'm hearing from Spirit is this has been bypassed for a really, really long time. This asteroid, Chiron, it's been skipped over. It's been overlooked. You could have been healing people already. There's a fear here of getting out of your comfort zone to do what you need to do to fully heal this wound. And so 2022, you're going to have the courage. You're going to be that athlete that's like, let's go. What's the challenge? What's the time limit set? Like, let's go. I'm ready. You're going to have this competitive sort of energy to push yourself, to see what more it is that you can do, which I think is great. Let's read the conjunction card. It says combines with, enhances, strengthens, joins forces, activates, intensifies, authorizes, allies with, concentrates, saturates, overrides, and overwhelms. A conjunction happens when two planets come together, and their two energies together form like a brand new energy. So they empower one another to create something new. So I do think in 2022, you are going to feel like, even with these secret moves and things that are going on in your life, at the point when you're ready to move forward, when you're ready to share, you are going to feel empowered by those around you. You're going to feel encouraged by them. You're going to, and in fact, a lot of them will be stepping in to help with certain things, whether it's a family member or a friend. They're going to say, here, I'll pay for this, or I want to volunteer some of my time to helping this. Or at the very least, they're going to be right on the same page with you. They're going to be like, yeah. And a lot of that has to become with how strong and put together you are going to be by the time you're sharing certain things with the ones that you love. You are going to feel so certain of yourself. You are going to have things so well planned and organized in such a mature way that you're not going to receive a lot of backlash for this. People are going to be like, yeah, confidence speaks volumes, and being responsible about things speaks volumes, and you're going to have both of those things. So even if part of you is a little nervous, like, I'm going to do things behind the scenes because I don't know how people are going to take it, I think it's smart for the first half of the year to operate that way. Don't share as much, because you're going to get a little bit too much feedback. There may be some skeptics, some critics that are going to throw you off your game. All right. But I would say, let me look at my astrological thing here. Eclipse season is going to start at the very end of April, beginning of May, and it will end early November. So but the first eclipse is going to be a new moon. I would say probably mid-May Around that time is when things are going to be more in motion, and you will be capable of sharing a little bit more with other people. And you're going to see that the people in your life that you share this with are going to empower you even further. But it's only because of the work and effort, consistency, responsibility, okay, the tact that you've had up to that point. It will say a lot to people, like, wow, you're really serious about this, especially because in your past, you've been someone who maybe overshares, who shares a little prematurely. So for you to go against what's typical to you in order to try out something different, to protect, it says a lot to people. The people who know you, they take note of that. Like, wow, they must really be serious. They usually kind of share everything. Usually things are a little bit all over the place. Usually they're a little bit more unsure of themselves, but things seem different this time. Like, they know what they're talking about. Okay. So, but remember to take those risks. 2022 is a year of risk for you. If you see yourself being a little bit too comfortable, repeating things, falling into the same cycles, you're off your game. And remind yourself, this year's about risk, risk, risk. Spirit, how can I have the courage to take this risk, to do things differently? All right. So best of luck to you guys. 2022 sounds like a year of maturity too. I think you feel much more mature this year. You're reaching a new level of maturity in 2022, and you should be proud of that, all right? So best of luck to you. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to provide this reading for you, for being here, for coming. Thank you so much for your support. If you guys want to leave a comment down below, feel free. And also, please, if you could, hit the thumbs up button before you head out. It helps get this video out to more people. I hope I see you guys in next week's Pick a Card reading, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye, my love. Hey group 6, welcome to your reading. You all had a few extra cards, more cards than the other group, so Spirit clearly has a lot to talk to you about in 2022. Let's dive in and see what it is. Okay, so this is the card topper you all gravitated towards. This kind of reminds me of like the Page of Cups or the Page of Wands. It looks like a young man or maybe even a child, and they've got their feet in the water and this stream before them. Really peaceful and curious and explorative sort of energy is what I get from this. Oh, and the back of it actually says explore. Okay, perfect. Trust your imagination to help you journey through your inner landscape to find what you seek. Okay, so 2022 is going to be a big year of internal exploration for you all. I see you guys taking a lot of like personality tests, trying to get a grasp on your strengths and your weaknesses and understanding like what you'd be good at. I see a lot of you kind of searching for, okay, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And so doing a lot of internal exploration to find out what that is. A lot of you will be trying out some new things, just small things, I feel like, certain hobbies or activities, just to kind of get a taste or a feel for it and see, is this something I'm naturally good at? I feel like a lot of you grew up in households where your parents either didn't have the time or the money and resources to put you in a whole lot of extracurricular activities where you could really find your niche and figure out what you're good at. Or even if they did and were able to, it's like nothing really ever clicked. Maybe you did a little bit of that and that was fun, a little bit of this and that was fun. But I feel like you've always had this sort of envy for people who from a very young age like knew what they were passionate about. You watch certain celebrities talk about, I knew from the age of 6 that I wanted to be an actress, and you're like, how does that even work? Like, why hasn't that happened to me yet? Why am I still just kind of coasting through life without a particular passion or a sense of purpose? So I see you being like, okay, this year I'm going to kind of get to know myself. I'm going to take some personality tests. I'm going to try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and hopefully something will click, right? So this is going to be a year of curiosity and inner exploration for you. You're going to come out of 2022 feeling like you know yourself a lot better than you ever have. You're more sure of yourself and who you are and what you're good at and what you're not and what you like and what you don't. So I think that's great for you guys. Let's take a roll of the die and we'll get deeper into this message. Okay, we have Mars in Pisces in the 4th house. Now, 4th house rules over our home life, our private life, as well as things beneath the surface. So like aspects of our childhood that shaped us, our childhood home and family life, even our ancestry, our genetics, things that we kind of inherited from our family line. Mars is about aggression, competitiveness, and action. Mars does not like to sit still. Mars doesn't like to stay put or be quiet or silenced. Mars is ready to fight for what it wants. Mars doesn't want to compromise. It has a mission in mind and it's just going for it. So it's very action oriented. Pisces is about, Mars doesn't really like being in Pisces because Pisces can be very much directionless. It's a watery, flowy energy without any boundaries. It can represent loss and confusion and even things like addiction and mental health issues. On the positive end, it can represent like pure unconditional love and artistic creativity that comes from something higher than us, like tapping into the collective consciousness to create, okay? So it's a very spiritual, mystical sign, but it's hard for Mars to do what it wants when it's in Pisces, okay? So there's always this struggle of, I want to be without an ego. That's Pisces. Pisces is ego-less. It's very much, no, we're all one and everything is, connected and, we're all part of God. And Mars is very much, okay, that's great, but like I have my own agenda here and there's some things that me, myself, and I want to do. And I want to be aggressive about it and competitive. So you see how it's opposite energies there? So I feel like that is something you are going to be struggling with in 2022, because as you're doing this inner exploration, there's this part of you that's like, you're fighting with your ego and what it wants and your spiritual self and what you think it should have. And those two seem to be disconnected. I think they have been for a while. Part of you wants to like dedicate your life over to something or someone else. Maybe pour, no, my life is for my kids or to carry on my family's legacy, or I just want to live a life of volunteering and travel and spiritual pursuits, okay? And then the other part of you is like, well, but I am really interested in sports or in performing and acting and singing, but am I interested in that because of the fame aspect? Am I interested in that because it feeds my ego? Because no, that's negative, that's bad. So then you hop back and forth and can't find where you feel fulfilled, okay? So this is the battle that you're going to be trying to eliminate in 2022. You want to bring these two energies into harmony. And with the fourth house here, you're going to be doing a lot of this inner work and exploration at home or in your private life. But the other aspect to it is I don't think you're going to be investigating how your childhood, how your upbringing has really had an effect on how you view a purpose, finding one's purpose. Maybe it was opinions from your parents, opinions from siblings, or the way they led their life, or a sense of competitiveness to where it's like, well, but if I'm not the best at something, then that can't possibly be a part of my purpose. Okay, something about your childhood upbringing affected the way that you viewed what you should be doing with your life and for a living, like in a negative way, to where it's got you caught up, tangled up in something and you can't find your own self. All right, so what I'm hearing from Spirit is try to eliminate your purpose, your calling in life is ultimately about what is fulfilling to you, what puts you at ease, what brings you peace, what makes you proud of yourself. It shouldn't come down to, well, if my sister or brother is better at that than I am, now all of a sudden this doesn't feel like my purpose. No. Like forget about the other people. One thing that Mars is really good at is it's self-focused. Mars doesn't want to be anybody else but itself, okay? So Mars puts standards on itself like, oh, I want to improve this. I want to be better at this time around than I was last time around. So Mars pushes itself, but Mars doesn't fall into these comparisons with others or wishing it had something that others have. Okay, so this Mars energy in 2022 can help you get a clear head about being focused internally. What is it that you want? What feels good to you? And Mars can really help you in 2022 in giving the energy and the drive that you need to explore. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to enroll in that class. I'm going to take this test, because you need that. Because there's a lot of yourself that you haven't discovered yet. There's a lot that hasn't been discovered or tapped into. because there's this, I think you're very self-critical. Part of you feels like, oh, I don't want to go into something unless I know for sure with a guarantee that I can be amazing at it, because I can't handle the pain of defeat, the pain of being second best or third best. And that comes from childhood. So there's a lot that you haven't explored for that reason. You haven't been able to discover a lot about yourself. And we do want to, through exploration, find out what we're not good at. You know, if you try out something and you suck at it, and it's also not much fun for you, that's amazing. That's exactly what you wanted, right? You wanted to try out something to see if it fit for you. So even coming out of it, quote unquote, a failure, that's a win in your book, because you've now discovered something new for yourself that you can be certain about, that I'm not good at that. That's not my thing. I don't enjoy it. And you're becoming a more interesting person as you do that. You have more life you've lived, more stories to tell. You know, yeah, one time I went off on a limb and tried out this, that, or the other, and this was fun and it was cool, but oh my gosh, I embarrassed myself. I sucked so bad. That is not my thing. You know, so it's making you a more interesting person, even if you're failing at these things or figuring out it's not something that you like or that you're into. So that's kind of what you're going to be doing in 2022. Healing some things from your childhood and your upbringing that have kind of gotten in the way of you tapping into your purpose and your calling. So let's look at the tarot. All right, we have 4 of Pentacles, the Judgment card, 6 of Swords. You guys had a lot of tarot cards that came out. Ooh, we have the World. This is Saturn energy, so Capricorn, Aquarius. Ooh, the Tower. We have 3 major arcana already, you guys. That's insane. And then Page of Swords. This is air energy, so Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Wow, 3 major arcana. That is insane. So this card is just showing me, this is about a man who's holding things very tight to the chest. Doesn't want to make a move because, well, if he moves, he could lose those pentacles. Someone else could take them, you know, so I'm just going to sit here on top of them and not move. And for the rest of my life, I'll be guaranteed to have 4 pentacles. When in reality, he should be moving away from those pentacles, stick them in a safe space or whatever, get out of your own head of, you know, anxiety and worry. And at some point, maybe you could have 10 pentacles, 20, 30 pentacles, but you've got to get out there and explore. You've got to try out new things. So I feel like up until 2022, this was your mindset about a lot of things. Even sharing or exposing certain faults about yourself. Part of you almost attributes your success to some of the screwed up things that happened in your childhood. Like, yeah, that was screwed up, but it did, you know, and it did make me super critical on myself. But you know what? I kind of think on some level that unhealthy self-criticism does push me to be better. So I don't know if I want to heal that, because then what if I'm a loser? Okay, so you've got some toxic things from your past that you're actually holding on to, even though it's unhealthy, because you do think on some level it helps you. So you're clinging everything so close, it's not giving you any flexibility to be able to move, to explore, to get to know yourself. And so I do see in 2022, we have the judgment card, and this is about making a judgment call. This is a situation in which the control is in your hands. Are you going to wake up to that alarm? Are you going to rise from the grave and make the choice to ascend towards a new life? It's in your hands whether you heed that call, listen to that horn, make that decision. And that's what you're going to be doing in 2022. You're going to be the one to say, you know what, enough of this. I'm sick of feeling lost. I'm sick of feeling confused. I'm sick of feeling unfulfilled. Like, that's it. I'm making a judgment call. I'm getting out of this situation. And this card is about leaving something behind. It's going towards new lands, finding a new place to live, to explore, going on a journey, taking with you what's necessary, what's most important, and just leaving the rest behind. So some of you could be doing some form of therapy. Pisces can represent that, healing of the subconscious, in order to get to that place where you can go through your mind and say, okay, that's got to go, that's got to go, that's got to go. Okay, this should stay though. That was helpful. This is good. Kind of having the power to pick those things apart and leave behind what's unhealthy and take what works for you. And so that's when we have the World card. And this can represent world travel, but it can also represent just accomplishment. After something that was really difficult, something that was hard to do, that required discipline, that required dedication, but pushing through, getting to that next level. This is a card that kind of symbolizes, graduation. You've reached a new point, a new pinnacle in life, and feeling so liberated and so free and so like, wow, look at all these options and look at all these things and look at all that I've learned, feeling accomplished. Okay, so I do feel that you will be reaching that in 2022. Now, we also have the Tower moment and the Page of Swords, okay? Now, the Page of Swords is the investigator. The Page of Swords wants to gather all the data, all the knowledge, all the info. Page of Swords is like the little sleuth of the tarot. So very mentally alert and a lot going on mentally, but not necessarily speaking it or sharing it with others. It's more of a doing things on your own, going within. So I do see a Tower moment here in 2022. Now, for some of you, this investigation of this Tower moment, finding out what you can learn from it, has to do with a Tower moment of your past that was never dealt with. Maybe it was a really bad breakup that you just avoided really grieving. I feel like for a lot of you, there's something from your past that you haven't really grieved. You haven't really taken a look at, how did this affect me and my mindset? What decisions am I making now that are purely out of fear of this Tower moment, okay? For a lot of you, that's the case. You're going to be investigating this sort of thing. For others of you, there could be an actual Tower moment in 2022. Tower moments are about when God sees something going on in our life and realizes that we're not going to pull ourselves out of that situation. Like he looks down and he says, wow, they're so far off their path in their journey. How'd they end up over here? They're not going to turn back now, but that's not where they're supposed to be. That's not part of their purpose. And so he intervenes like the lightning bolt to get you out of that and get you back on track. Okay. So for some of you, that could be the case. Some of you could, maybe something goes on with your company, your job, and you're not supposed to be in that job, that line of work. So God intervenes and does something to get you out of that and onto the path that you need to be on. Maybe it is some sort of relationship in your life that's toxic and not good for you. Maybe it's, I don't know, it could be anything. Tower moments really just represent something in our life that's like very abrupt and very much like, oh, okay, did not see that coming. There was no flags or info that could have led me to predict this, but it's here, okay? So it's kind of like shocking and abrupt. But ultimately, it's God kind of intervening in our lives to give us a message, to get us on the right path, to show us, hey, this wasn't for you. So I've got to put you back on track, okay? So towards the end of 2022, for some of you, that's what you're going to be looking back on. Like, okay, God, I'm getting the message. I see that you're trying to alert me to something through these signs, these synchronicities, through what you did there that was abrupt and I did not see it coming. Okay, what is it? I want to learn from it. I want to figure out what it was. So you're going to be a student of that situation. You're going to not just move on from that as if nothing happened. You're going to really be more aware and in tune with spirit, with God, with the universe, and really craving to learn from it, to connect with them, to learn from them. So every time that you see a door closes in front of you, or a window opens up, or that bird crosses your path, or whatever it is, you're going to be very much in tune and taking note of all of those things and having conversations with your higher self or with God in between. Okay, what was I supposed to learn from that? What are you trying to get me to see? Okay, that's what's really also great about that Pisces energy, because Pisces, because it's boundaryless, it allows for this beautiful, deep connection with the divine because there's no boundaries there to go between. It's connected. So a lot of you will be very psychically attuned, very in tune with your gut instinct, and just very aware of the synchronicities and the signs around you and having conversations with God throughout 2022 as you go on this journey towards your purpose. I'm actually hearing from Spirit for you to research, and I actually don't know a lot about this story, the Odyssey, Odysseus. I think it's a real long book. It's Greek mythology. Spirit's wanting you to research that story, read it if you can. If you can't, I guess read some reviews or watch some videos that are about what the symbolism, what the messages are in that story about that long journey, because it kind of feels like you're going to be on a journey of your own in 2022, a journey of self-discovery. That's interesting. I wish I knew more about that story, but read up on that, study that, okay? It will help inspire you and get you prepared for 2022. All right, let's look at the oracle cards. So there's a word on this card that's supposed to represent what 2022 is for you. Like if it could be summed up in a single word, this is what Spirit wants you to focus on or what you will remember 2022 by. And for you guys, we have acceptance. Wow, that's powerful. Finally coming to accept and be at peace with your past, some of these tower moments that have been thrown your way. For some of you, there's several of these that have happened to you. And in 2022, you're going to be looking back on those moments and reflecting on, okay, why was God intervening in that way? What was the higher purpose for why this happened? Or what's the message or learning that God was hoping I would take away from that abrupt, shocking end? Okay, so you're going to be pulling out. I look at life this way. I don't believe that everything was meant to happen for a reason, that everything happens for a reason. Because I'm sorry, there are too many vile, horrible acts that occur in this world. I just can't possibly bring myself to believe that all of those happen for a reason. But I do strongly believe that with God, you can pull a reason and pull a purpose out of anything if you choose that path. So when something happens to you that was horrible, that was wrong, someone cheats, someone murders, whatever it is, it's not necessarily that, oh, well, this was meant to happen. No, not at all, especially when it comes to people doing the wrong thing. Like ideally, no one's supposed to be murdering anyone, right? So how could I possibly say like, oh, God wanted that person to murder so-and-so? I can't get behind that belief. But what I can get behind is the idea that if we turn to God in those moments, like what I'm seeing here, if we look back and we investigate, we can find meaning for ourselves and new purpose for ourselves in that horrible experience. Some people who, for example, have their kids kidnapped from them, okay? That was not meant to happen. But a lot of times they'll take from that experience and decide to go out and help others. Maybe they start an organization that's for missing children to help bring other kids back to their parents, right? And so then a lot of people say, oh, well, see, look, it must have been meant to happen that they lost their child. Otherwise, because if that didn't happen, they never would have created this organization that's now helped millions of children reunite with their parents. So it must have been meant to be. I say, no, that they were not meant to have their child kidnapped from them. But they did, when that moment happened, turn to God, turn to the universe and say, what can I bring out of this situation that provides purpose and meaning and can give back in some way? What can I learn from this situation? So they pull that meaning. Now, there's a lot of people who have their kids kidnapped from them, right? And they don't go start a foundation to help others. They may fall into addiction, depression. They may commit suicide, right? Because gosh, what a horrible thing to have to deal with. So then is like, in that case, was that meant to be? No, we get to choose how we react to anything that happens in our life. We get to choose whether or not we're going to pull meaning out of something or further ourselves down a road of destruction, okay? So there's a lot of these tower moments that have happened in your life that I feel like have been overlooked or not grieved. You haven't really looked back through the records of your life and pulled out all of the meaning that you can from each of these situations. And I see that in 2022, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be like, I don't want these moments to go to waste, or I don't want these moments to have only affected me negatively with nothing positive to gain. No, I'm going to do an autopsy here on these moments of my life, and I'm going to find out what went wrong, where it went wrong, how it went wrong, what I could learn from it, what I can gain from it, okay? So that's the mindset I see you having, this very scientific, investigative mindset in 2022, because you want to get to know yourself better. You want to get in touch with your purpose. You want to find fulfillment in your life. And I see you putting in the work to do that. And acceptance is a big, big part of it, because especially in these tower moments that come up in our life, a lot of times there's anger that comes up with that. We've been a victim to something a lot of times. We feel like it shouldn't have happened. This should not have been. Things should have been differently. Why was I born into this family? Why did this have to happen to me? Why can't things be different? When we're in that mindset, we're not in a place of acceptance. We're in a place of anger, right? Resentfulness. And unfortunately, even though those feelings are totally natural to feel, staying right there in that spot doesn't benefit us in the long run. It's good to be in that place for a moment. We've got to feel through all of that. But what we're supposed to eventually do is get to the next step, the next stage, and get to a place of acceptance. Once we have acceptance in our heart for the type of parents that we have, the type of exes that we had, the type of shocking and abrupt life situations that we've been in, once we fully, truly accept those moments, that's a sign that we have learned from it. We've gained meaning for it, even appreciation to a certain extent, because we learned something through those experiences. And acceptance also signifies that we're finally moving past it. We're no longer tethered to this negative moment in our lives. Okay, so write that word down, hang it up in your bedroom, put it on your vision board, type it out, set it as the background on your phone. Acceptance should be the word of inspiration and motivation for you in 2022. What in your life have you not accepted? What about your life and your past are you still angry about, resentful for, in a mindset of why me? Why did it happen to me? How can you move past that in 2022? All right. Okay, let's look at the last few oracle cards. Wow, we have the 4th house. So this came up in the die and on the card. It says roots. Oh my gosh, you guys. Then we have Pisces, the mystic, which also came up in the die. This better not be Mars under here. That would be too crazy. And we have Aries, and Mars rules Aries. That is insane. This says the radical. So we have the mystic, the radical, 4th house roots. So the 4th house card says family, home, background, comfort, cooking, inner world, real estate, shelter, self-care, rejuvenation, habits, and shell. Some of you will be purchasing your first home in 2022. I see that for you. Some of you will be moving homes in 2022 and moving at a distance from your last place. So it'll be quite a big move, okay, to a totally different town, or you're going to be moving into like a totally different lifestyle. It's so funny to see Pisces and Aries. Now, Pisces in the natal chart, every natal chart's different, but it usually rules over the 12th house of the subconscious, and Aries rules over the 1st house of the conscious self. Okay, so usually what's in the 12th house is hidden from us because it's subconscious, right? I see that in 2022, you're going to be bringing the subconscious into consciousness. Okay, you're going to be fully integrating yourself, which I think is awesome for you. And some of you are interested in going into some sort of spiritual work or spiritual industry, maybe becoming an astrologer or a tarot reader, working from home in some capacity, doing things like that. It would be an environment that's got an element of competition. There's other people doing the same thing as you, so you're kind of fighting for the spotlight as well to get those clients to make your money. But I see a lot of time at home in your own inner world, in your mind, being able to explore, going on that inner journey. Okay. All right. Let's look at the archetype. Now, this is the archetype that you will be embodying in 2022 or learning from. Okay. So let's see. We've got, okay, we have the shapeshifter. Now, when this card comes up, I always say it gives me Pisces vibes, because Pisces, because it's boundaryless, it doesn't have necessarily an identity of its own. It is a shapeshifter. It can kind of conform and merge into whatever and whoever it wants to be. So that's why I always say that with this card. Okay, this says skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Okay, I like that with this, seeing the potential in these moments. What do I have to gain? What do I have to learn from? Another message I got just real quickly, some of you are going to be buying a home that needs a lot of renovation, a home in which no one can really see the potential in but you, okay? And taking on that project and turning it into a really beautiful space, putting in all of that work. So if that's something you've been thinking about doing or always wanted to do, 2022 is the year that it can happen. But I just see you guys, getting very much in touch with your subconscious, healing a lot of trauma, a lot of pain from your past, like just purging out a lot of things and becoming more aware of, okay, so this is what drives me. So this is what I like. So that's why I don't like that. That's why I like this. you're just going to feel more integrated into your identity, but also very tapped into your spirituality, and that being a big theme for you in 2022. So yeah, you guys are going to be putting in the work for sure, the inner work for sure. So congratulations on that journey. You're going to know yourself so much better by the end of next year. You have no idea. And I do see you feeling fulfilled and tapped into a sense of purpose, okay, due to this healing. You're going to be more aware of who you are and what you're all about, which I think is what you've been wanting for a while, right? So go for it. Go for it. And just remember this word, acceptance, acceptance. Let that be a mantra to you. Okay, so best of luck to you guys. Thank you so much for coming, for allowing me to provide you with this reading. I love doing this for you so, so much. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you could, hit the thumbs up button before you head out. It helps get this video out to more people. I'm super grateful for all of you guys that do that for me. Thank you. And hopefully I see all of you in next week's Pick a Card reading. Love you guys.